phenomenal speaker. And I cannot say enough words about our next speaker because he is, I mentioned this before, when the Speakers Bureau started, the big goal of those originators to get the thing rolling was to think about the fact we never had an accredited speaker. We finally have one accredited speaker. This accredited speaker, Edwin, will be conducting a seminar with an accredited speaker, Cheryl Rouse. Some of you know her next month. That'll be August. And he is our one and only, our first ever and one and only accredited speaker. His speech topic is those three little words, Edwin Ettinghausen. Edwin Ettinghausen.
We have a timing device here today, but I brought one of my own just to make sure I did not go over time. It's right here. So that when the sand has left the top portion of the hourglass, I know my time is up. That's actually a 30-minute timer, just so you know. Tom said, Ed, you're going to be the final speaker and you can have all the time that you want. As long as you keep it between 5 and 7 minutes. I want you to think of the three most important words in the English language. The three most important words. Any volunteers? Richard.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
Please, thank you.
Please, thank you. Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
I am sorry.
I am sorry. Great ones. Thank you kindly.
It's on fire?
It's on fire! We'll get to that later. Thank you kindly. I think, though, there are three other words that are also important, not to diminish any of those that you came up with. I can tell you these three words, but I think it's better if you tell me these three words. And for you to come up with it, I think if I share with you a movie, one of my favorite movies of all time, I think most of you can come up with the words I'm thinking of. The movie takes place in a land far, far away, a time long, long ago. There's a young farm boy named Wesley. Wesley is in love with a farm girl named Buttercup. Now Wesley wants to ask for her hand in marriage, but he's a poor farm boy. So he takes a trip across the seas to seek his fortune. Unfortunately, his ship is captured by Dread Pirate Roberts. And as everyone knows, Dread Pirate Roberts leaves no one alive. And poor Buttercup had no future with her Wesley. 5 years later, to the day, Buttercup was engaged to Prince Humperdinck. But that day, before the wedding, someone came and kidnapped the princess and took her on this trail high above the valley below. And as she was going along that trail with her kidnapper, she said, "I hate you," and pushed him off that steep embankment. And as he went rolling down, he said 3 words. And those 3 words were,
as you wish.
As you wish. Now you might wonder, well, Ed, how are those more important than I love you? Please, thank you. It's on fire. I will share with you why I think that is the case. Now you might be wondering what's in here, and I have something very magical. You can tell it's magical because it's starting to smoke, right? Would you like to see what's in this?
Yes.
Magic treasure chest? You see, Dread Pirate Roberts, he plundered ships that had gold, silver, and jewels, but nothing was as valuable as what is in here. Let me share with you what it is. Aladdin's magic lamp. Yes. I had to go far and wide to get this from the Disney store. Now, the magic lamp is special, Aladdin's magic lamp, because when you rub it just right, a genie comes out, and genie gives you 3 wishes. And the genie only says 2 things. Your wish is my command, and as you wish. What could you accomplish if you had a genie that granted you 3 wishes? More importantly, what could you do if you had a genie that could grant you every wish that you have? Let's say, for example, off the top of my head, you're going to do some activity like give a speech. The interesting thing is the genie inside of you, in your subconscious mind, will make what you wish come true. Every command you give that genie, the genie's response is always, as you wish. Whatever your magnificent obsession, or in some cases, malignant obsession is, the genie will make it come true. The genie doesn't care about if it's good or bad, negative or positive, right or wrong. It's not the genie's job. The genie's job is to make your wish come true. So what if you had that big speech and you're thinking thoughts, a thought bubble with this thought. The genie knows that thought. She can read your mind, he or she. And what does the genie do? Grants your wish. And what happens when you give that speech?
You'll blow.
You blow that speech. On the other hand, what if your thought bubble was this? The genie reads your mind. And what does the genie do? It makes it come true, as you wish. Now, throughout history, there have been great men and women who have had a dream. And they've made that dream come true because they let the genie do the genie's job. It was 50 years ago, on July 20, 1969, when Neil Armstrong and Edwin, Buzz Aldrin, walked on the moon. Now, we heard about someone's birthday celebration, but I have a different take on it. That was a celebration of someone's 7th birthday. My lovely bride was born on July 20, 1962. Don't do the math. Just stick with that. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream. His dream he never saw come true. But it came true because others also believed in that dream. Our president, John F. Kennedy, had a dream to take someone to the moon and back safely. And he announced that dream shortly after he was elected in 1961. He asked Werner von Braun, the head of NASA, what will it take to get this dream, to make it happen? And he said 3 words. Simply, the will. No, actually, he didn't say those 3 words exactly. I'm paraphrasing. He said something of simply the will, Mr. President. If you want it, it will happen. Now, unfortunately, John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 20th, 1963. Do the math. 1963, November, July 20, 1969. It took nearly 6 years for that dream to come true. And when John F. Kennedy died, Werner von Braun sent a private letter to Jacqueline Kennedy and said, I will do everything in my power to make that dream come true. And it did. So I wonder, what is your magnificent obsession, your great grand dream? Just take a moment and think about a dream that you have given up on. Now you might think, Ed, well, this sounds all good in theory, but really, come on, this genie in your head is going to help you get done what you say you want to do. Does that really happen? And how do you know what happens? It's happened for you. Well, some of you might know that I have set some world records in running. I ran over 200 marathons and 179 100-mile or longer races. And I started doing that when I was 46. How did that happen? Do I have a superhuman ability to set these records, doing things that no one else has ever done in the 100-mile race records that I've set? No. I'm a mediocre runner, really. When I run a marathon, I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm not one of the front runners that come in. But I know to let my Genie do its job. Because when I say I am doing this race and I will finish, that's all I think about. I don't think about what if I don't. And my Genie says, as you wish. So I want to come back to you. And what is a great dream that you've had that you've let go? I'm going to ask you to listen to your Genie when she says or he says to you, as you wish. Mr. Toastmaster.